What's good, everybody? It's Y and Z conversation between the generations. Is what we do here. It's a conversation between the Y, myself, a millennial, and that young whippersnapper, the Z over there. That's Xavier Lewis. I'm Jay Clark. Like, share, subscribe, join the journey. If you got something you want us to talk about, we're always open. Let us know. Hit us with a question. I actually got a couple. We won't get to them today because we're gonna deliver on a promise today. But my guy, how you doing? And the floor is yours wherever you decide to take it today.
Man, I'm doing amazing, hitting this, coming up to these last few days of Black History Month. And I kind of want to hit you with this topic today. Just let's just dive into some deep thought right here.
Okay. Okay.
Do you think that the significance of Black History Month is waning more than it did in former years? Because now we're more knowledgeable about the whole Black 365. We're not just waiting until February to really kind of show out. February has really become such a stacked month just for a month that doesn't have the full 30 days. You got Valentine's Day, Mardi Gras most of the time, Super Bowl, Black History Month.
NBA All-Star.
Those are, yeah, NBA All-Star game. It has really become packed out with other things. And it's almost like Black History Month is not as important as it was to our forefathers.
Interesting perspective. I like how you phrased that. Two quick points off jump.
Yeah.
One, yes, but also no. The no comes from because it is a symptom of things we've seen other places. Um,
Okay, hold up. Dive into that right quick.
so life is sped up. We're so much more connected. There's all this information sharing. There's a lot more things out there. So I think to some extent, it's not just Black History Month. It's a lot of things in general.
Got you. You
In general. So like taking a step
just
back, it's a
just
lot of
getting
like
caught in the flow.
yes, but specifically to Black History Month. I would slightly have to agree simply because Black History, it originally started as Black History Week. A lot of people are like, well, why is it in February? They gave us the short, first of all, we started it, okay. I believe it was Carver, Washington Carver.
Right, right,
It was Black History Week and it was in February, and then it expanded to Black History Month. But I think it's waned in importance a little bit because, as you said, it's gotten beyond the month in terms of our discussions around it. Like, you really needed that focal point back in the day. Like, even like when I was growing up as a kid, like Black History Month was something because
huge.
things weren't getting discussed outside of
Right,
space generally. I think now we're at the point where there is more knowledge about the contributions African Americans have made to not just U.S. history, but the world. But it's not like still things are still widely not known. But I think
right,
what we see is because of social media and we're all in our own hubs more so now than ever. Like we're seeing these discussions, we're seeing these things happen all the time, not just limited to Black History Month. And so I think it's grown outside of it and it's kind of like, yeah, 365. And I think that's kind of waned a little bit of a focus period on now because now it's like every day is a different observance, every month is a different observance for something. So it's almost like anything else. It's so oversaturated with stuff that yeah, it's just like anything else, sadly, unfortunately. What
right.
yeah.
So like I think a big thing that has really been on the come up these past few years. I did your cup just say daddy sippy cup? I
Yeah, yeah,
think that
yeah,
is the
yeah.
most
Yeah.
adorable thing ever. I've never seen that. That's adorable. And I think especially with my generation and your generation, because I think, aside from the kids, I know people call me kids, but there's still a generation under us.
Gen Alpha, yeah, I'm
But
raised
for
one.
our, Gen X, Gen Y, I think, well, no, what is it? Y and Z? Yeah, Y and Gen
Hence,
Y, Gen
hence the
Z.
show title, Xavier. Come
Yeah,
on
yeah. I
now.
mean, I'm over here like Gen X. Hold up, I'm thinking about myself. Um, I think even so, Juneteenth has had a rise in cloud participation, acknowledgement of it. And I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this: I was talking to my grandma one day, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we used to celebrate Juneteenth all the time growing up. We didn't celebrate 4th of July." And I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
So it all depends on where you're from. That lets me know where your grandmama is from. Because
Yeah,
as a kid, I didn't know that like it. I didn't know nothing about no Juneteenth.
right, right.
Interesting about
We being
Juneteenth.
honest.
Yeah, I Juneteenth wasn't a thing, but you hear from the South, especially Louisiana, Texas, down there, like where it all started. There's significance. I think the difference is Juneteenth is a specific event. That's it's a holiday.
It's tied
It's a
to us, right? It's
it's a
tied to a specific
specific
event.
thing versus Black History Month. It's just kind of like I said, it's almost on the level of anything else now at this point. Whether it's Gay Pride Month, Black Music Month, Asian Heritage Month, Pacific
Right.
Islanders Month. Like it's supposed to be this time where yeah, we maybe spend a little more effort on focusing on some of these things, but I think as a whole, the way society operates now, while all aren't informed, there is certainly more awareness now around contributions, especially from the Black side, speaking since that's what we are. There's more awareness now around some of these things that we used to highlight during Black History Month. Like I said, it's gone beyond that. It's a sad, it's a good thing and sad thing at the same time.
Right, because it's almost like there's always that thing though in life in general though. Some people think in order to achieve something you have to completely take away from something else.
Mhm.
And you don't necessarily have to take away so much importance from Black History Month to emphasize the importance of Black 365.
I would
Like,
disagree there a little bit because
so
look
you
at why
think,
look because why was Black History Month, a Black History Week started, was to focus on contributions of African Americans throughout history because it wasn't being taught or there was no focus on it, period. We're now at a point where, as much as it sounds like, yeah, it sucks, there's less of a focus or an importance to Black History Month. I think the gain of now that the contributions of African Americans are now being called out more, or if we're seeing something that's being attributed wrong, we're calling it out more outside of the month, is is improvement, is achievement. And so because of its start and why it was started, I do think, yeah, if you get to the ideal point is yes, our contributions are being recognized where applicable, when applicable, and not having to wait for the special time, then ideally the ideal society is you get to a point where yeah, Black History Month is obsolete because it is 365.
so do you think the purpose of Black History Month will change then? And it'll change from more of a this is our history, let us make you knowledgeable about it. Do you think it'll change from that to just being more of that a month of social gathering for the Black community? Do you think it'll change more as the years go on?
I think that depends. That depends
If we're
organization
being, I
based.
think if it's up to our generations, I think that's what it's going to turn into.
It wouldn't surprise me, like because but then again, people recognize it differently. Like my church back in DC, Black History Month for us is a time where the hymnal every week is the Negro National Anthem.
Right, right,
Like
right.
it's a time to focus on, and it's a time to focus. But again, that's the Black church. We're doing Black history all the time anyway.
Anyway, right.
So there's a diff. So now it's like, okay, we can step it up a little bit here more. I think in a broader sense, yeah, it'll fade away because it used to be Black History Month was like the month that like I said, we're now to this point where there's so much oversaturation with months and days and recognitions and stuff. I think yeah, we'll get to the point where Black History Month just fades into the background, unfortunately, like any other month.
Because I mean, even if you're looking at it from a marketplace standpoint, you go into a store, what's hitting the shelves at the end of what? Man,
When the second week of January hits, it's
that's what I'm
Valentine's.
saying. One second, you get to Valentine,
And then as
bam,
soon as
it's there.
Valentine's Day is over, it's spring stuff. And honestly, I don't
Right,
want to see
right.
Black History Month marketed like you don't want to see that kind of stuff because we hate that we see it with Juneteenth. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think naturally some weight is going to shift from it. Like I said, it's not entirely a bad thing. I can see why some people might be like, "Oh no, we got to hold on to it." But if you move the direction you want to go, it's kind of
Right. You have to be kind of willing to let go
yeah,
of what used to be
yeah,
in order to make that progress towards what could be. And
right.
that's, I mean, like you said, if the goal really is to highlight and acknowledge and get the right accreditation for Black contributions to society as a whole,
Hmm.
Why not have that going on every day and not just have them, checking off the boxes during February?
Right. Right. But it's interesting that you mentioned letting go or holding on to some things because let's make a transition here. It's Y and Z, conversation between the generations, and what I'm about to do is deliver on a promise. A couple weeks ago, that young gentleman made a recommendation to check out a song. I need to check out the song, heard the song, and the version he checked out. For those who aren't aware, he suggested I check out Muni Longs, Made for Me, the Soul Train performance, and that's actually been released on Spotify as its own thing. And I brought up that I had an issue, and I think right now is perfect because on the whatever you want to call it, on the X, the Twitter, whatever this week, one of the things that kind of came about was a tweet from a gentleman. I'm not going to put out there who he was. If you've seen it, you've seen it. Where he said, "Money Longs Made for Me might just go down in history, right next to Fantasia's When I See You and Keisha Cole's Love." My response to that was, "Y'all are desperate." Now, let me preface, it's a good song. It's a good song. I enjoy it. And I'm glad that y'all have something of that quality that y'all are enjoying. But one, that analogy right there is horrible. Like, you make it a proclamation that this is about to be a mid-tier song. Like, it's something that's sad. And two, my biggest gripe with the song is that it is incomplete. And you notice how incomplete the song is when you listen to the first version that was put out
Versus
and
the live
the
version.
train version live performance that was put out. And what was missing was what Jermaine called out. Let's take it to the bridge. And literally, that small portion finishes the song. And it's not like we're talking like a whole nother verse, a whole nother minute. The original song is what? 308? That Soul Train performance version is 328.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. I don't think she expected that song to do the numbers she did. I thought, to me in my head, even the way that she kind of brought it out, it wasn't like a big thing. I don't believe that Money Long thought this was gonna be a big viral song. I don't think she put the effort in it for it to be that big. I think she just wanted to release, a nice kind of slower song. Bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's a different feel from Hours and Hours. It gives you a little more of a 90s R&B feel, but I don't believe that she came into that with the mindset of, oh, this is gonna take off. Because I think Money Long is a person. This is just me assuming from the music I've heard. I don't think she's a person that would want to make incomplete music.
Your and I hate to put this on your generation, but your generation is in the limelight because unfortunately, a lot of these folks are my generation. Like a lot of these artists are my generation. Like,
But they're making it for the
but they're
consumer.
making it for yours. It's not a money long problem. It's a your generation. Like a lot of these songs, and I'm not like they'd be pissing me off because I'd be listening. I'd be like, okay, you're going somewhere, and then it's over.
It ends.
It
Right.
ends,
Right.
and it's like that's just lazy. Like even what you said, that's possibly just lazy. I just made this, and I'm gonna just put it out there. Y'all need to stop that shit because y'all are putting out crap, and it's what you're getting judged on. Because
Right.
like especially with something like R&B, like I'm all here for fluidity and making things work and evolving and different sounds and sonics. But a good R&B song has to take you somewhere. That's why low key y'all have been latching on to things like Hours and Hours, Made for Me, Coco's ICU is because even though they may not be completely on track with it in terms of what the formula is, they are
The
right next
closest thing we
adjacent to
got.
it. They touching it, and y'all are like, oh my, like even like this tweet, it's like, oh my god, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what it's like.
And
This is what
like,
it's supposed to do.
and
And
let
the
me
fact that y'all
so
not going in with the intention to do like how you do a song like that and don't really finish it, especially and I'm most mad Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox for letting that like because she got up with them to finish the song. Like y'all didn't think to put out the bridge originally because it's stuff like that that really takes you places with R&B songs.
and I think the thing is, especially with my generation, and I don't think he was like making a diss to When I See You or Love by Keisha Cole, but those songs to us, they're classics to us.
I don't disagree with you that he was making. I don't think
Yeah,
he was making a diss to those songs,
right.
but it's interesting that those are classics to you because they're good
Right,
songs,
right. You,
but
you see what I'm saying?
they're not like
They're not classics to you guys
they're
because
solid records. They're solid
right.
records.
But to us, that's play those songs. Now, not maybe not like Love by Keisha Cole, but if you want to get a party rocking full of my generation, put on When I See You by Fantasia. The whole building rocking. The people you don't know, the people you know, the thugs with their guns, everybody in the club singing, when I. Everybody in the club just going up singing When I See You by Fantasia. And I think that's what he's getting at in the point of, as far as like, he should have been specific about where this would be up there with them at. Because the location where the song is played plays a big part in it too. If he's like referring to like, a big gathering type of song where it's a bunch of our generation, I most definitely agree with him. You turn on Made for Me in the club, the whole club singing. At the lounge or whatever, the lounge singing. But as far as we're looking at like the charts or whatever, or the actual quality of the song, maybe not.
It's not even charts. As like I said, Fantasia's When I See You, very solid record. Keisha Cole's Love, solid record. Like those sit in playlists that I have. It's just when you're trying to make a statement about a song now, it's like that's not the compare. Like it makes sense that you say, like you're like, yeah, those are classics to us. It's a little wild, but I understand.
Yeah.
And he's definitely Gen Z. I was like, okay, I need to know who making this. He's definitely Gen Z. So that it makes sense, but it's almost like I feel a little sad because it's like, okay, like y'all are missing out on some fine. Like it's almost like, ooh, yeah, this McDonald's burger is the best thing I've ever had. It's like, sir, there's better burgers out there. There's better burgers out there.
You just said what all needed to be said. You literally just said it's all about what's being consumed, right? And it's not like, and music is, we can still go back and we can still go back and consume past music,
Mm-hmm.
but because we weren't there living in the moment of it, it makes a complete difference.
Well, I also think it's sad too that because this is actually a question I have in my notes that we won't get to today. We'll get to it to another day because it's something I want to take a deep dive in. Is how you guys go about really getting into older stuff. Because like for me, I'm R&B lover at heart. In case it hasn't come across, my spot is slow jams. Like I'm a slow jam king. So that's why something like Money Longs, made for me, and I like they resonate with me, and that's why I get mad. It's like, oh, you right there. But like for me, what really helped me explore older songs outside of something like Napster and LimeWire, which we won't get into right now, was you still had like Quiet Storm Radio at that point. Like, and I'm a huge lover of radio, but I used to always live for them evening moments when, depending where you were, whether it was 7, 8, or 9 p.m., and that urban station would start going slow jams. And they'd be playing the contemporary slow jams. So I'm thinking like, my early high school days, '01. So you getting the, My First Love, Kiki and Avant, their cover. You getting Brian McKnight's in there, but then you also getting Earth, Wind, and Fire. You getting some Lionel Richie cuts. You getting Michael Jackson cuts. So we getting everything that fits within this mood at the time. And so even though I wasn't around for some of these older songs, I still very much hold a present memory for some of them because they were presented in those moments, if you know what I'm saying.
Right, right.
Like they may not have been the hypest song of all time, but these were staples for this format and for this time. And so yeah, while the song at that point may have been 20, 15 years old already, nah, man, I'm still grooving to it in that moment. So it's very present for me versus like you guys, y'all don't have that. I judge that y'all don't have that because for one, Quiet Storm ain't here no more. Like nobody does Quiet Storm radio
I
anymore.
think I think the big thing of how, like, just to quickly touch on it, I think the big conduit for us to like get into older music is just older family members. And if my generation does not have that connection to the older generations, then they kind of miss out on that for real. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who didn't know, watch this, who didn't know what Al Green's Love and Happiness was. I start singing Love and Happiness, and they be like, "What's that?"
That's a black staple. I don't care how old you are. You gotta know that song. That's a black staple.
I do the five stumps. They're like, "Why are you stumping?" I'm like, "You don't know where that's from? You should get them five stumps to know what come after that."
We gonna get to this whole deeper. We gonna get to this whole deeper one day. Real quick, I want to take it back to hours and hours, real quick, or not
Yeah,
hours and hours, made for me, because also this week, did you see Chloe's cover of it?
we see
Pissed,
Chloe's covers of everything.
pissed me off, pissed me off, pissed me off because I'm like, Chloe, sing like
The
this is
thing,
what we want. This is what we want. Singing. But you got a beautiful voice. Fuck this rap singing, this rap cadence that you be doing because it's the popular thing, girl. Because that was beautiful. Sing.
she this has been my problem with Chloe for the past, what, 5 years. She's been doing them by herself, sitting down like that. Chloe, we get it. You're beautiful. You're sexy. We get it. We get it. You don't have to sing like it too. Just open your mouth and sing the song. You want to put your little twist on it? Bam, that's
What she did
fine.
it. What she
But
did
we're
it.
not asking for you to be the modern day female Usher.
No, no, and that's not a Chloe problem. Once again, this is a problem with a lot of artists right now,
Yeah,
and it's hot take,
it's an
which
epidemic.
here's one I'll give you bookmark because we will get into it a later day. It's a tease. I'm gonna tease the hell out of you. We're gonna move on. I love hip hop. I enjoy hip hop, but hip hop and rap is probably one of the worst things to ever happen to R&B. We'll get into that at a later day because that needs some discussion. But hip hop and rap is probably one of the worst things to ever happen to R&B.
So how do you feel about artists like Rod Wave?
Hip hop and rap is
It's gonna be a good conversation. Okay,
while great is one
that's
of
all you
the
gotta say.
worst things to ever happen to R&B. We will get into that. Like I said, we don't bookmark things just to tease. Like I said, we revisited this simply because of time. That requires a discussion. We will get into that. Like I said, maybe not next week. It could be the week after, but we like bookmark that because yeah, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on that. And as much, like I said, as much as good as hip hop and R&B is, and what it's done for our community and how it's created a global culture, one of the worst things to ever happen to R&B. But with that being said, this is Y and Z, conversation between the generations. That's what we do is we talk between, I guess we're the real adults now. I don't even know what, like, we're just grown. The millennials, the Y, that's the young folk coming up now. They getting grown and seeing how life ain't all that pretty, which is why we're here to talk about different things in life. Like, share, subscribe, join us for this journey, this conversation. What we do here at this point is we generally give some recommendations to try and put one another on. So, sir, what you gonna put this old head on this week?
Man, you ain't that old, Brad.
I'm not. I'm in the prime, but I'm the old head for the show.
Man, I've been going through things lately. Life is wild. Life is really, really be lifing. But this little old, Gen Zer over here want to put you on something that I feel has really become a prevalent discussion in my generation. Your
Mm-hmm.
generation was talking about it, but nobody took y'all seriously. And that's ways to like help your mental health. And one thing I've been doing lately, because I got me a real grown man job now. And I'm managing people, managing guests. And one thing I've been doing at night to help me like really, really decompress, I've been using the Calm app.
I've seen
And
commercials. Okay.
this is not a sponsorship for the Calm app. But when I tell you, it allows me to just kind of break down, get what I need out before I get ready to go to sleep. Because sometimes I'll come in from work and my mind still be wanting to move. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll probably still take me like 2 or 3 hours, 2.5 hours to get to sleep because my mind is still stuck where I was at work. So lately I've been using the Calm app, man. So I don't know if you can, go check out the free trial for it. But it really, that sense of guided meditation is really, really great. And I know, it's like we said, it's Black History Month. We understand the stigma of mental health in our community and, even the fact of, seeking help. It's kind of always branched over with go suck it up. You don't need to do that.
Hmm.
But the way I grew up, my mom is the one who kind of put me on at first. My mom used to have this like white noise machine that she used to go to sleep with. And that's the first thing that put me on to, something in the field of guided meditation in order to go to sleep and kind of decompress. So that's my little young person G and Z recommendation for the week is just go check out the Calm app, man.
Personally, I'm not gonna need that. I don't play with sleep. I
Oh, so you sleep good.
oh, I sleep good and hard. Like I am
Ah,
one. I have always been one. The minute I'm ready to go to sleep or I decide I'm going to sleep, like I hit the pillow and I'm out. Like my wife will tell you, like if I'm ever up in the middle of the night, which has only happened at like 8, I can count. Where it's like, oh, I can't sleep. She's worried and concerned because I am one when I'm out and it's time to go to sleep, I'm sleep. Like I remember in college one time, Halo was big at the time. And so
oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
and you used to all have to be in the same room. I don't know, you don't know about nothing about that. But so one time we was a bunch of the fellows was hanging in my room. Me and my roommates, they was playing Halo and they was going late. And I was like, well, it's time to sleep. I didn't need to ask them to turn the TV down and be quiet. No, I climbed up in my bed and I went to sleep. Who knows how long they did. And now I got me a CPAP machine. So now
Oh,
I put my mask on.
man, the thing is, don't get me
So
wrong.
that's just me. Like
You would asked me that a couple months ago. I wouldn't need the app. I was going to sleep fine. But it's like the more responsibilities I started taking on,
it can
the
be stressed
more I
out.
needed
Yeah.
to learn how to readjust.
Certainly, like outside of this specific thing that you're recommending, the
Yeah.
concept of yes, being able to unwind or find those things to help you free your mind at night. Yeah, yeah, like you got to do that. So for me, sometimes I got the Xbox back there. I'll play a game of Madden or some Division or whatever. Just just to
Yeah.
go to a. I don't gotta think about nothing. I can just zone out and just woosah. So no, whatever you got to do, crucial. Go ahead and do it. Cause like that stress. You don't need that stress. And so yeah, definitely come
Ah,
especially as you get into the workforce. That workforce gonna try and stress you the fuck out. So
every single time.
kudos, kudos. Wow. So yeah, get on that now. Go ahead. Let's see.
What
My
you got for this
recommendation.
young whippersnapper?
Um, so did you watch any of the All-Star game this past weekend or
No.
festivities? No, yeah, because it's
It
trash, and
it's
everybody's talking about how
it
much trash it is. And so my recommendation to you and other people who just may not be aware, please go to YouTube and watch clips from previous games and All-Star weekends because the beauty of it is it's there for you. Growing up for me, it was like once it happened, that was gone. It was
no.
it. But now you can go back and revisit some of these things and see, oh, okay. And so yes,
That's
please,
what it used to be like.
like go back to the days of Jordan in the 90s and
So how do they even do it? Like, do they still do East versus West? How do they do it now?
it's back to the this year was back to the East West thing. But nobody want to play defense. They nobody really and like everybody's talking about it on all the things. It's like nobody was putting an effort to the game. Go back and watch some of these All-Star games from the 80s and the 90s. Hell, even the early 2000s with Kobe and AI and Shaq and like folks was playing defense. Like even as far back, I forget which one I've seen circulating. There's a where one where Kobe was guarding LeBron up and down the court. Not like
Not
please
letting up.
not letting up. And like that's something like unfortunately kind of going back to your first question about Black History Month. Unfortunately, with the way things are, things like the NBA All-Star Weekend, the NFL All-Star, and even baseball and whatnot, they've been on downward trends and now they're low key just becoming irrelevant. One, because they're not must see TV anymore. Two, if you really want to see it, you can see the clips on YouTube the next day. And three, nobody's really caring or trying, and it's sad. Like I like in high school, I remember that year where Vince Carter stuck his arm in the rim during the dunk contest because it was like one, like you
The
had to watch
dunk
it, and then
contest,
two, we were talking about
3-point
it at school
shootout.
the next day. Like like I y'all don't know nothing about the life of seeing something and then having to wait 12 hours to talk about it. Like, because for y'all, all y'all had, oh, it happened. Okay, I can go to Twitter right now and see everybody. No, it used to be you was watching it. The only people you could talk about it with was in the house, or maybe you made a late phone call, but by the time these things ended, they was late. So you had to go to sleep. And yeah, it was the talk of the town, or the talk your workplace, or school, whatever.
For the
Like
next few
for the
days.
next few days, because nothing else. Like it was, yeah, it that like the way things used to be slower, and so yeah. So I'm here. I mean, so we got a couple minutes left. Let me ask you this: for you, if I was to be like, hey, what could make the NBA All Star Game or All Star Weekend something you would want to watch again? What would your solution be to fixing NBA All Star Weekend? I've got one that's like I think would be real cool, which I mean has a lot of elements to it. But what if you had to put a solution? What would it be?
I mean, it all goes back into like you want to see effort from the NBA players because I am seeing, I'm seeing the celebrities there, they there. I'm seeing the influencers there, they there. And at that point, I'm just like, man, do I really need to watch it? If I'm gonna see them there posting their content from it, like all of that, like that's the only part I need to see.
Right.
Because, like you said, it's like there's almost like little to no effort on the player side. I want to see competitive competition, bragging rights being brought back for these type of competitions.
Here you go. My solution. NBA, hope if you're watching, give me some credit, hire me as a consultant. I'm here.
Look it up.
NBA All-Star weekend, taking it to the playground. Like I'm getting rid of the game. And essentially I'm making the whole weekend like keep your skills competition, keep your dunk competition. Those need to be fixed too. But I'm throwing in a one-on-one tournament. Like instead of just voting for the teams, no, you're voting for the all-stars, and essentially the ranking of the votes is your seed. So maybe you get the top 16 or whatever. And essentially, so it's 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15. Now it's a tournament, 1v1 to 6 or 7. So you're talking bragging rights, and now it's effort. It's mano a mano. It's not this team. It's me and you. I'm throwing
And
in
the crazy
like
thing is, you would have thought they would have made up an ideal like that with the evolution of 2K
it's
Blacktop.
it's all right there. Like I said, we're not making any new games here. So I'm throwing in a one-on-one tournament. I'm throwing in a game of horse. I'd love to see the top player. Okay, how crazy can I get in this game of horse? And you got
Right.
LeBron, KD, Steph Curry out there taking a crazy shot from like 3/4 down the court, makes it. Now you got to see if KD and LeBron can do the same. I'm throwing in NBA knockout. Like there's like so I'm literally going straight playground games. The stuff that because part of the fun is, oh, I've seen them do it. Now can I go replicate it?
Right.
Can I
Right.
can I can I try this out? Or like you said, the
That used
bragging
to,
rights. Yeah.
if we're being honest, that would be what kept conversations about stuff like that going on for so long. It wasn't just the fact that you could talk about it, but you got to GM during the week
Yeah.
and you was like, oh, I seen it. Let me try to do it right quick. You out there about to break your neck trying to do what you saw in the NBA All-Star game.
Because part of the beauty was like so many have harped on. I've heard in conversations is like you want to see the effort here because this is the best of the best. You don't get this often,
Not at all.
and so part of the moments you remember is like AI versus Jordan or Kobe against Jordan or these wild matchups that you wouldn't get. And so maybe there would be a moment out of them. Imagine now you are now creating the environment. It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna see LeBron versus KD one-on-one for bragging rights. Who the best? Or who got the skill? Like you want to talk ego and effort. Like
We
if
want
you're
to
not
see
showing up
that.
for that, you're not showing up for that. Or you got so and so like I think that's the way you got to go. Just go full like kind of like what the NFL did, but it doesn't work as well in the NFL because a lot of this is still team stuff. Like that's not what if you're going out in the backyard, that's not the stuff you're doing. The beauty of if you go NBA All Star Weekend, the playground, that's the stuff you doing in your driveway or on the court with your friends. Like that's so it's the
I'm
stuff that
telling you,
you
bro.
try and like it would yeah. That's
People talk about WWE a lot. But if the script writers in WWE know how to do nothing else, if all else fails,
They're gonna make some
they
drama.
gonna pin two heads of a generation against each other, and they are gonna polarize the whole audience. I remember watching The Rock and John Cena going up against each other. Like, what is going on right now? I don't know who to choose. I love both of them. I don't know what to do. These other companies, because it's becoming more prevalent that there is some sense of scripting in all sports.
You
There's some sense of scripting.
they have things they'd like to go their way. Sometimes it happens,
Right.
sometimes it doesn't.
So if they started playing their hands, at least in areas where you figured that it would be scripted, not saying that you pick the victor, but at least you pin them together. You at least
You,
expect
you could
that.
you could set some things up like, okay, folks really want to see
You
this. How
expect
can
that.
we
You
make
don't
it?
necessarily expect that during the 82 game season, but you expect that at the All Star game.
Yeah, yeah,
Something you wouldn't catch on a regular game on television.
yeah. There's so much potential because even then, like my mind's going now. You could do an old timers thing, like maybe you get an old timers bracket. So we got Jordan in the back on the court and AI. Like, yeah, that's a game you're not expecting as much competition or effort because they're a little older and you understand it. But hell, I'd still sign up to see Jordan get on the court.
Bro, we just want to see two.
For a quick
We could do
one-on-one.
4 5-minute quarters.
Not even full quarter. Like it's a one-on-one first to five. Like that's a simple thing. Hopefully nobody like there's a lot of potential to have some fun happen there. NBA, hit me up. Like I got ideas. Like I'm here.
Bro, we all want to see Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
We
Who
want
wouldn't
to
sign
see
up for
it.
that? Who wouldn't sign up for that? Like that's some must see TV. Or someone's like, okay, yeah, let me check this out. But yeah, check out some old. Please go to YouTube. Use
That's
it.
gonna be dope. I'm going to go do that right now. I'm about to put myself in a frenzy watching this stuff.
Oh man, good days. Even in its poor quality definition. Whew. Y and Z, y'all. Like I said, hey, we talk about life here. It can go a bunch of different ways. Conversation between the generations. I'm the Y, the millennial, Jay Clark 787 on all social. That's the Z. Xavier Lewis, the Lewis brand, the real Xavier Lewis on social media. Follow, like, share, subscribe. Hit us with your comments, what you'd like to hear us talk about. We get into a lot of stuff. We don't keep you long, as you see. We here for good, not we here for a good time, not necessarily a
Not a
long
long
time.
time.
Not a long time. But yeah, in the meantime, once again, thank you. And until next week, peace.
Peace.